Did you know some common maths teaching practices can negatively affect students' learning? In this video, I will walk you through 6 practices that seem helpful, but actually make maths harder to learn. And trust me, some of these might surprise you. Let's start with the most harmful one, making students do tedious calculations. Pages full of arithmetic, endless steps, and repetitive drills. This looks like hard work, but is it meaningful? Students might solve 20 or 30 problems but still not understand the concept behind them. In fact, the more tedious calculations we ask them to perform, the worse their performance becomes. This kills their thinking. They stop looking for patterns, estimating, or asking, does this answer make sense? Over time, they lose number sense, flexibility, and excitement for maths. Next is memorizing facts without understanding. We teach times tables, but what happens if a student forgets 7 times 8 is 56? If they don't understand what multiplication means, they're stuck. They can't figure it out. Memorizing facts without understanding might help in the short term, but it creates long-term struggles. While knowing facts is important, it's just as essential to learn them with strategy and fluency. Facts should be learned alongside ways to think flexibly about numbers. They need both their knowledge of facts and flexible strategies to succeed. Without these, it often leads to maths anxiety. Third on our list is rote procedure. Teaching students procedures without explaining the why behind them. Take long division, for example. We might say, when you bring down 2 digits, add a 0 in the quotient, without explaining why. Or in dividing by fractions, we tell students to keep the first fraction, change the division sign to multiplication, and flip the second fraction, then multiply. Again without explaining the reasoning. These procedures often feel like tricks instead of meaningful mathematics. Procedural fluency is important, but it must go hand in hand with conceptual understanding. When students grasp the why, they can adapt procedures and apply their knowledge flexibly to new situations. The keyword strategy in word problems is the 4th practice we should eliminate. We teach students that decreased by a means subtract more than a means add, even when the situation calls for something else. This trains students to guess, instead of understand. It damages their ability to make sense of real-life problems. Over time, they stop reading the problem carefully and lose confidence when keyword tricks fail. 5th on the list, rules that expire. Some rules we teach work in early grades but fail as students move to higher grades. For example, when you multiply a number by 10, just add a 0. That works for whole numbers like 25 by 10, but breaks down with decimals like 2.5 by 10. Another example is the rule, you cannot subtract a bigger number from a smaller one. This holds when students only work with whole numbers. But later, when they encounter problems involving integers, this rule falls apart. These are misleading shortcuts, rules that seem to work in one class but expire later, causing massive confusion. When students realize these rules don't always hold, they begin to think maths is full of tricky rules and lose trust in their ability. And 6th harmful practice we need to stop is rushing through mistakes. We are often so focused on covering the syllabus that when a student makes an error, we quickly correct it and move on. But mistakes are valuable learning opportunities. When we overlook mistakes, students miss the chance to analyze their thinking, identify misconceptions, and deepen understanding. Worse, they begin to fear mistakes, associating them with shame or failure. This creates a fixed mindset, where they avoid challenges, shut down risk-taking, and stop exploring. These 6 practices may seem small, but they make maths harder to learn. They prevent students from building strong understanding and joyful confidence. In the upcoming video, I will share 5 proven strategies for teaching maths, practices that truly make a difference. If you are ready to change how you teach maths, don't miss it.